We're starting a business completely from scratch with the goal of making 6 figures within a year. This video is everything that's happened in the last week. So if that's something that interests you, I'd appreciate it if you subscribed. Now, you probably know what dropshipping is, but just in case, you can pause and read this diagram if you want. Now, we'll be getting into more sophisticated types of dropshipping in future videos, but for now, we're starting with a subcategory of dropshipping called print on demand. It's fundamentally the same as a customer places an order through your shop, and the order gets sent directly to the print on demand supplier, and they will put the artwork on the product, print it, and ship it directly to your customer. So you can see, you just basically upload artwork to a generic unbranded product, and they'll print and ship the item for you. Now, the other thing that I plan to do a little bit differently is not start out using Shopify. So a lot of dropshippers will start out with Shopify to host their website and run their store. But since we're using a print-on-demand model, it actually unlocks the ability for us to use eBay and Etsy. Now, the main reason that I want to do this is for the cost, because on Etsy, you're only charged about a 20-cent listing fee each time you post a new item. This means that we can test a lot more products without having to worry about spending a ton on marketing, because Etsy will do the marketing for us. We're going to start off primarily focused on Etsy, but the print-on-demand software does integrate with eBay and Etsy. Now, if you're not a designer, but you still wanted to follow along with the challenge, that's okay. I'm going to show you how we're going to get around actually having to design products. So on the first day, I basically just have to get everything set up. So I signed up for a new Gmail account and used that to sign up for Printify and Etsy. Now, Printify is completely free if you want to start out, and they also have a premium option that gives you a roughly 20% discount on all of the products. So when we do start seeing sales, that'll be a valuable upgrade. But if you're following along and you're just starting out, I definitely just start with the free plan. Each product might cost a little bit more, but you're going to be saving a lot of that money up front that you can spend on posting more listings or running ads. Now, there's a big debate here on YouTube about whether to use Printful or Printify. I'm a big fan of Printify just because of the cost and the quality of the service overall. So if we take a look here and we look at the Printify premium plan, it's about $29 a month or $25 a month if you pay it annually. And Printful is about $50 a month, but Printful still doesn't give you a discount. Printful, you have to do over $10,000 in sales to get even a 9% discount, which is pretty ridiculous because a generic t-shirt is close to $14, it's $13.50, and then add an additional $4 on for shipping. So it's ridiculous to pay $17 for a t-shirt when with Printify, you can pay around $13.50 to get the same exact product. A lot of channels here on YouTube are going to promote Printful, and I'll make another video explaining why, but I just wouldn't recommend it. I think that Printify is going to be a way better deal, and you'll just get a lot more bang for your buck. Products are exactly the same. The print quality is exactly the same. And I personally just like the Printify experience better, especially working with their customer service. So I just had to link my Printify and Etsy accounts together so that anytime I get an order with Etsy, it'll sync right up to Printify. So now this is where I can start creating designs. So if you're not a designer and you do want to follow along, this is where it gets surprisingly easy. The cool thing about Etsy is how many people are coming looking for custom products. So my plan is to just look at the Printify bestsellers page and pick some of their best-selling products and list them as custom items on Etsy. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So to make these listings, we just need 3 things. We need a product mockup, which is just an image of what the item would look like. We need some cool-looking fonts, which we can get for free, and good SEO so that Etsy will actually rank our products so that customers will see them and eventually purchase. So I went through the free and, more importantly, commercially free fonts on Google Fonts, and I downloaded a bunch of them. All of the fonts that you can see on here are completely free to use, and you can download as many as you want. So I just went through and downloaded a bunch of them. Now, you can use the free mockups that Printify gives you or Printful gives you, and they look pretty much like this, which I find pretty ugly. And since the store already looks like a total scam because nobody's purchased from it and it has 0 reviews and 0 social proof, we're going to be buying some mockups. So you can just search Etsy for the type of mockup that you're looking for whatever color and shirt style or item that you're selling, and they're generally pretty cheap. So I ended up buying roughly 3 or 4 mockups, and I'll put the total cost on the screen. The SEO is also super easy. So when we're creating the listing, we'll just look up similar items to what we want to sell. We'll pick one of the best-selling items, and we're just looking for portions of keywords that we can shove in our own titles and tags. I spent many hours getting all of these assets together, and at the end of the day, I still only have the one listing that we had to post when we opened our Etsy shop. And by the end of the day, we had 0 views, 0 orders, and 0 visits to our shop, which is completely expected. So on the second day, when I opened up my shop to start posting some listings, this is what I saw. So for some reason, Etsy had decided to suspend my shop, and I thought that the challenge was dead before it even started. So I had to email their customer support, hoping that they would reinstate my account. And after waiting about 7 days, Perry from Etsy came in absolute clutch and reinstated our shop and our single listing. I don't know why this happened. I don't think that there was anything that I could have done. I had filled out everything correctly. What I did end up finding out is that they had trouble verifying some of my business details, and that could have been the issue. But I did fill everything out correctly, so if you're following along and this happens with you, just reach out to the customer support and cross your fingers and just hope that this doesn't happen, because this was a major setback. Okay, so on the third day, now I can finally start posting some listings. Printify literally tells you exactly what products are best sellers, so we're just going to sell some of the best sellers as custom items. Now, I can't show my exact mockups and designs, otherwise everyone will copy them, but I'll give you the exact idea of how I'm doing this. I use a free program called Figma to do all of my editing. You can do it in the web browser, or you can download the program. But essentially, it allows you to drag in your mockup, add some text on top of the mockup, and then you can export these together as an image and use it for your listings on Etsy. The process for posting a listing is pretty easy. Now, I'll reveal exactly what products I have been selling this whole time once we do hit the goal, but for now, I do have to blur out all the products. But to add the listing, I just clicked add listing, and then from here, you can just drag in the image that we've created in Figma, and there we go. Now there's a ton of little listing details that you'll have to fill out, and this is probably the worst part of making the listing. My plan is just to copy some of the similar keywords and put them in our own titles. So in the title is where I included a bunch of those keywords from our SEO research, as well as in the tags section. This just gives us the best chance of getting found by new customers. Now there's a ton of little listing details that are very annoying to change. So an easy way around that is to just come and click this little gear icon and hit copy, and this will essentially copy all of the listing details, and you'll just have to change the product images, the title, and the tags. Everything else will stay the same, and you don't have to create a brand new listing each time. So at the end of day 3, which was actually over a week later, we still had 0 visits, 0 views, and 0 orders. Unsurprisingly. Now there isn't too much info to share for days 4 and 5. I played around with some more mockups and kept posting custom products. Now, since we aren't using Etsy ads or actually any ads, we just have to focus on posting the most amount of listings. For the early stages of this challenge, I'm going to be using listings as our marketing. But you can see by the end of day 4 and 5, that we actually started getting some visits and some views on our shop. This means that Etsy had enough time to start ranking our products and actually test it out and show it to some people. But on day 6, that actually all changed. So since Etsy does take some time to rank your products, once you post a listing, it can even take a few months before customers start to see it. And since our shop looks like a wasteland, it'll be even harder to get our first few sales. But after we had posted about 26 custom item listings, this happened. On the 6th day, we saw a huge boost in traffic, and on the 7th day, we actually made our first sale. Now, this is incredible because we've only had our shop for less than a week and we got suspended. This is likely because someone saw our shop and noticed that there was a sale and they wanted to get the product before the sale ran out. So I'll have to blur most of the customer information as well as the listing, but you can see that we actually made $30.70. So these fees are the specific transaction fees. So they'll take 20 cents, they'll take a processing fee, the sales tax, and the transaction fee. Now, after those transaction fees and all of the listing fees from those other 26 listings that we posted, we're left with $20.51, which is not bad at all for our first week. Now, that probably doesn't sound too good because we spent probably 15 to 20 hours on this shop. This is like the safest way to start selling online. Out of the $20.51, we then had to spend $16.90 on the product and shipping. And that leaves us with $3.61. And that does not include the mock-ups that we purchased to actually list the items. So we're a little bit negative for the week, but overall, I consider this a huge success. We listed our first products and actually got our first sales. And right now we're putting in a maximum amount of time with little return. But later on, as our listings continue to sell and Etsy promotes them without us having to do any work, we'll see a lot of profit with very minimal amount of time investment. But early on, you have to list a lot of products for sale so that Etsy can test out which ones they actually want to promote. And once customers start buying them, Etsy will promote you more and more. So it doesn't sound too good, but I do have to remind myself that this is the first week. Our shop looks like a barren wasteland. We got suspended and we still made a sale. So I will see you next week.